You think you're ready. You've packed smart, picked your favorite playlist, and even remembered your travel pillow. But 20 minutes after takeoff, reality hits. Your back starts to ache. The air feels dry and thin. Your seatmate's elbow slowly conquers the armrest. And that baby 2 rows behind you? Still crying? Welcome to the hidden battlefield of economy travel. A 35,000-foot endurance test disguised as a vacation. For decades, flying was an adventure. It meant freedom, possibility, excitement. But by 2025, that magic has quietly been replaced by strategy and survival. Airlines have been redesigning the economy experience with one goal: squeeze efficiency out of every inch. Seats that once gave 34 inches of space now barely stretch past 29. Armrests are slimmer, cushions thinner, and recline almost non-existent. Meals that used to be included are now add-ons. Even water service comes slower, smaller, and sometimes not at all. Behind every smiling gate agent and glossy safety video, there's an algorithm measuring profitability by the millimeter. And while travelers search for deals, airlines quietly shift the rules. Hidden baggage weight limits, stricter check-in policies, new restrictions on power banks and smart luggage batteries. If you don't know these details, you don't just lose comfort. You lose money, time, and peace of mind. But this video isn't about complaining. It's about arming you, the traveler, with real insider knowledge. Because there are 17 secrets that flight attendants, pilots, and seasoned travelers use every day to make economy feel almost luxurious. You'll learn hydration hacks that beat jet lag, the hidden lever under your seat most passengers never notice, the psychological tricks that reset your body mid-flight, and one shocking item already being banned from select flights in 2025. So fasten your belt. Because if you think surviving economy is just about getting a window seat, you're already losing before takeoff. The hidden fatigue trap of cabin air. Picture this. The plane door seals shut with a quiet hiss. You take a deep breath, ready for hours of calm cruising. But what you're breathing in isn't normal air. It's thinner, drier, and hungrier than anything on Earth. At 35,000 feet, cabin humidity drops to around 10%. That's drier than the Sahara Desert. Within an hour, your throat starts to tighten. Your eyes sting. Your skin begins to pull. You feel tired for no clear reason. That's not jet lag. That's dehydration stealing your energy molecule by molecule. The secret lies in how aircraft create breathable air. The air you're inhaling doesn't come from a tank. It's bled straight from the jet engine's compressor section. To prevent corrosion, that air is stripped of nearly all moisture before it even reaches the cabin. Efficient for engines, brutal for humans. Airlines rarely talk about this because the fix isn't profitable. Increasing humidity means adding weight, which burns more fuel. So they leave it to you to figure out, here's how to fight back. Start hydrating the day before your flight, not during it. Bring a collapsible water bottle through security and refill it afterward. Flight attendants can top it up with sealed drinking water, never from lavatory taps. Electrolyte tablets work even better, helping your body retain every sip. Avoid caffeine and alcohol mid-flight. Both trick your system into flushing out water. And don't wait until you're thirsty. By then, you've already lost a liter of hydration. Because fatigue isn't just about lost sleep. It's about your cells quietly starving for moisture. And even if you win the hydration battle, there's another invisible force draining your body's energy faster than dehydration ever could. The jet noise that ages you mid-flight. You've settled in, headphones on, seat reclined, trying to relax. But what you don't realize is that your body is already under attack. Not from turbulence or bad food, but from sound itself. Every second you spend on a plane, you're sitting inside a constant storm of noise, averaging 80 to 85 decibels, roughly the volume of standing next to heavy city traffic for hours. It's a steady mechanical roar your brain can't escape. You may not consciously notice it, but your body does. Here's what's really happening. That endless hum triggers your adrenal glands to release cortisol, the stress hormone. Your heart rate climbs slightly. Your muscles stay subtly tense. And over a 10-hour flight, that chronic microstress can leave you feeling 2 or 3 times more fatigued than you should be. Scientists call it jet noise fatigue, and it's one reason travelers land feeling years older than when they boarded. Why don't airlines fix it? Because soundproofing adds weight, and weight burns fuel. Less insulation means more profit per seat. So you sit there, paying for your own exhaustion. But there's a fix, and it's simple. Invest in quality over ear, noise-canceling headphones with at least 30 decibels of reduction. They don't just make movies clearer, they let your body finally relax. If that's not an option, even cheap foam earplugs rated at 35 decibels can cut fatigue dramatically. Block out the noise, and you'll notice your mood, hydration, and focus all improve, even before landing. But silence alone won't save you, because there's a deeper danger building quietly below your knees, one that no airline safety card will ever warn you about. The hidden risk in sitting still too long. You've seen it happen. Someone sits quietly for 10 hours, steps off the plane, and their ankles look swollen, tight, almost bruised. They laugh it off as travel puffiness. But what's really happening inside their body is far more serious. When you sit still at altitude, cabin pressure drops to the equivalent of 8,000 feet above sea level. That means the air is thinner, oxygen is lower, and your blood moves slower. Combine that with hours of inactivity, and gravity begins to pool blood in your legs. The result? Fluid buildup, numbness, and in extreme cases, deep vein thrombosis, a clot that can travel to your lungs and become deadly. Airlines rarely mention this because it raises liability questions. They quietly advise, move around when possible, knowing most passengers can't. Seats are tighter, aisles are busier, and people fear being in the way. So you sit, still, trapped in a slow-motion health hazard. Here's how to outsmart it. Every 90 minutes, reset your circulation. Set a timer on your phone, stand, stretch, or at least flex your calves under the seat. Even tiny ankle rotations can make a difference. Compression socks rated 15 to 20 millimeters of mercury can reduce swelling by half. Hydration also plays a key role. Dehydrated blood thickens, increasing clot risk. And here's an insider secret most travelers ignore. Magnesium supplements help muscles relax and improve circulation. Take one before boarding and one after landing for extra protection. When you finally reach your destination, don't collapse into bed immediately. Walk, move. Remind your body what gravity feels like again. Because on a long flight, sitting still isn't harmless. It's the slowest kind of danger. And even if your blood's flowing fine, the biggest pain of all might still be waiting, right in your seat. The secret seat map airlines don't want you to know. You've done it. You booked your ticket, picked your favorite seat number, maybe even paid extra for it. But what if I told you that extra legroom seat might not actually exist? Here's the truth. Most travelers never discover until it's too late. Not all economy seats are created equal. Some have hidden boxes under them that steal your foot space. Others don't recline because they're directly in front of an exit row. And some are placed right next to lavatories, meaning every time someone flushes or the door slams, your rest goes with it. Why does this happen? It's not random. Airlines redesign their cabins to fit more seats while keeping the illusion of choice. That preferred seat label that cost you $30 often just means slightly closer to the front. It's a psychological trick. They sell comfort that isn't really there. In older aircraft layouts, window seats in certain rows even lose recline due to wall curvature or emergency equipment. Bulkhead seats sound luxurious, but the tray table in the armrest cuts into your width. So, how do you fight back? Before booking, cross-check your exact aircraft model on Seat Guru or similar seat map sites. Look for codes like no recline, limited legroom, or misaligned window. On long-haul flights, aim for the first exit row window or the bulkhead aisle. They offer up to 6 extra inches of pitch and faster meal service. And if you can't find the perfect spot, here's a pro move. Check in exactly 23 hours and 59 minutes before your flight. That's when airlines release unclaimed premium economy seats as standard picks. Free upgrades for those who know where to look. You can outsmart their map. You just have to read between the rows. But even the perfect seat won't save you if your gadgets die halfway across the Atlantic. The power bank rule. No one tells you. Imagine this. You're at the gate, relaxed, scrolling through your phone when a gate agent points to your carry-on and says, "We need to check that bag." You hesitate. Inside is your brand new 30,000 mAh power bank, your lifeline for the next 12 hours. Moments later, security pulls it out, scans the label, and says 6 words no traveler wants to hear. This battery isn't allowed on board. Here's what's happening. Lithium-ion batteries, like the one in your power bank, are tightly controlled by international aviation law. Anything over 100 watt-hours, WH, is considered a fire risk. That's roughly 27,000 nanometers at 3.7 volts. Go even slightly above that, and airline staff are required by policy to confiscate or deny boarding. Most travelers never check their power bank's watt-hour rating. Some companies don't even print it clearly, hiding behind flashy marketing numbers. But TSA and IATA inspectors use those numbers like gospel. If it's not labeled, or if it's oversized, it's gone. Why? Because lithium cells can go into thermal runaway, meaning if they overheat, they can ignite uncontrollably. And at 35,000 feet, even a tiny fire can mean an emergency descent. That's why you can't check them in luggage. They must always stay in the cabin, under supervision. The fix? Know your numbers. Check your device's rating, M80 1000X 3.7, 100 Anything below 100 WH is universally accepted. If it's higher, you'll need airline approval, and even then, only up to $160 for certain carriers. Pack your power safely. Keep the ports covered. Avoid carrying more than 2 large banks, and never store them next to metal objects. Because the real danger on long flights isn't running out of battery. It's losing your lifeline before the journey even begins. And once your devices are safe, it's time to protect something even more vital: your oxygen. The cabin oxygen deception. You settle into your seat. The air feels crisp, maybe even refreshing. But what you're breathing right now isn't what your body thinks it is. At cruising altitude, the cabin isn't pressurized to sea level. It's pressurized to the equivalent of 8,000 feet above ground, like standing on top of a mountain in Colorado. That means every breath you take contains 25 to 30% less oxygen than what you're used to. It's subtle at first. A faint headache, a little dizziness, maybe a yawn that just won't end. But after a few hours, that low oxygen quietly drains your energy, slows digestion, and tricks your brain into fatigue. You think you're just tired from travel. In reality, your body's working overtime just to keep blood oxygen levels stable. Why don't airlines talk about it? Because increasing cabin pressure wears down the fuselage faster, adding millions in maintenance costs. So instead, they maintain lower pressure to extend the aircraft's lifespan, at the expense of your comfort. Newer jets, like the Boeing 787, Dreamliner and Airbus A350, use advanced carbon fiber bodies that can safely handle more pressure, keeping cabin altitude closer to 6,000 feet. That's why you feel noticeably better after those flights. But most planes in the sky still operate at the old standard. So how do you fight it? Breathe deeply and slowly every hour to increase oxygen intake. Stay hydrated. Dehydration compounds oxygen loss. Avoid alcohol, which blocks oxygen absorption. If you're prone to altitude fatigue, try magnesium or a portable oxygen spray. TSA approved under 100 millivert. You can't change the cabin's altitude, but you can teach your body to handle it. And even if your breathing's perfect, your next battle happens at 35,000 feet, where your taste buds start to betray you. Why airplane food always tastes bland? You open the tray table, lift the foil lid, and sigh. The pasta looks perfect, the aroma promising, but one bite, and it tastes like cardboard. You add salt, more salt, still nothing. Why does food lose its flavor the moment you're in the air? It's not your imagination. At 35,000 feet, your taste buds go half asleep. The low humidity dries out your tongue, and the reduced cabin pressure dulls your sense of smell, the main driver of flavor. Scientific tests show that sweet and salty sensations drop by up to 30% mid-flight. Even your perception of crunch changes because your inner ear is slightly pressurized. But here's the real twist. Airlines know this, so they engineer meals with extra sodium, spice, and fat to compensate. Those sauces that taste a bit too strong on the ground? They're designed to taste normal in the air. And because food safety rules require meals to be pre-cooked, flash-frozen, and reheated, texture and aroma die long before they reach your seat. The logistics behind every meal are staggering. A single long-haul flight can load over 1,200 trays, cooked up to 72 hours earlier, chilled to precise temperatures, and trucked to the aircraft under strict timing windows. There's no room for fresh, only functional. So what can you do? Bring flavor back yourself. Pack travel-safe umami boosters, a small packet of chili crisp, a sachet of miso paste, or roasted nuts. Drink water before eating to refresh your taste receptors, and skip sugary sodas. They coat your mouth and make food taste even duller. Because the real enemy isn't bad cooking. It's science working against your senses. And while your taste buds fade at altitude, something else fades too, your skin's moisture, drop by drop, until it feels like paper by the time you land. The skin drying effect. No moisturizer can fix. You rub your hands together mid-flight and notice it. That tight, papery feeling spreading across your skin. Your lips are cracking, your nose feels raw, and your face suddenly looks like it aged 5 years in 5 hours. This isn't vanity, it's biology. Inside the cabin, humidity hovers around 10%, drier than the Sahara Desert. The air system continuously pulls in outside air, filters it, and recirculates it through the cabin. In the process, it strips away every trace of moisture. Combine that with altitude pressure and dehydration, and your skin begins to lose nearly 1 liter of water during a 10-hour flight. Here's the part most travelers don't know. Moisturizers alone won't save you. Traditional creams form a barrier on top of the skin, but do little to rehydrate it from beneath. Without moisture in your cells, the barrier just locks in dryness. Why airlines ignore this problem is simple. Humidity costs weight. Increasing cabin moisture means heavier air systems, which burn more fuel. So they leave it to you to deal with the aftermath. The fix starts before you board. Hydrate internally, at least 500 milliliters of water per hour of flight. Then apply a lightweight serum with hyaluronic acid right before takeoff. It draws water into the skin instead of just coating it. Mist your face every few hours with a TSA-approved 100 ml spray bottle to counteract dryness. Avoid alcohol wipes. They strip natural oils and make cracking worse. And when you land, resist the urge to exfoliate. Instead, rehydrate and let your skin recover overnight. Because what the cabin steals from your skin in hours can take days to repair. And even if your skin survives, your body clock is next, twisting itself against time itself. The real cause of jet lag and how to outsmart it. Everyone blames jet lag on lost sleep. But the truth is, it's not just about sleeping less. It's about your body's clock being ripped out of sync with the sun. Picture this. You board a night flight from New York to London. You eat dinner at 9 p.m., watch a movie, then drift off. 6 hours later, you land. But it's morning there. Your body still thinks it's 2 a.m. You're awake, but your hormones aren't. Your metabolism slows down, your brain fogs, and every cell in your body starts fighting the time zone you're now living in. Here's the science. Your circadian rhythm, the internal clock controlling sleep, digestion, and alertness depends on two main cues, light exposure and meal timing, and both get scrambled at altitude. Cabin lighting doesn't follow natural sunlight patterns. Airline meals are served on convenience schedules, not biological ones. The result? Total chaos inside your body. Why airlines don't fix it is simple. Their goal is operational efficiency, not your circadian harmony. So here's how to outsmart jet lag before it hits. 24 hours before your flight, start shifting your schedule by 1 to 2 hours toward your destination's time zone. On board, eat only when it matches your new time zone, not when they serve you. Drink water, not alcohol or coffee. When you land, step outside as soon as possible. Natural light resets your internal clock faster than any pill. And if you need a boost, take 0.5 to 1 milligram of melatonin, not more, about 30 minutes before your new bedtime. That's part of what Harvard researchers call the jet lag protocol, proven to cut recovery time in half. Because surviving jet lag isn't about sleeping more. It's about teaching your body when it's supposed to be awake. And even when your body's time catches up, your personal space might not. Because the next battle isn't with biology, it's with your neighbor's elbow. The armrest battle and seat etiquette psychology. It starts small, a slight nudge, a subtle claim. Two strangers, one narrow armrest, and 12 hours to decide who wins. The unspoken war of economy class begins. We've all been there. The elbow creeping closer, the silent tension building. You pretend not to notice, shifting slightly to reclaim your side. But in this cramped social experiment, the rules are rarely clear. So here's the truth. There is an unwritten law of the armrest. The middle seat passenger gets both. Why? Because they're already sacrificing the window view and aisle access. That's the social balance. Every flight attendant knows it. Few ever say it out loud. Why don't airlines enforce these etiquette norms? Because they can't. Publicly taking sides risks confrontation, delays, and passenger complaints. So they let the silent battles continue, hoping everyone just quietly tolerates discomfort. But you don't have to play that way. The key is establishing comfort early and respectfully. Sit down, place your arms softly on both rests, not aggressively, just naturally. People tend to yield to confidence. Once the boundary is set, the battle ends before it begins. As for reclining, here's another invisible trigger. Reclining is your right, but timing is everything. Never recline during meal service and always glance back first. It's small courtesy, big difference. And when you find yourself on the losing side of the elbow war, don't stew in silence. A small shift, crossing arms, using a neck pillow, or resting your forearms on your lap, saves energy and sanity. Because travel comfort isn't just physical, it's psychological. It's about control in a place where everything feels out of your hands. But while you're mastering the social game, there's a hidden piece of the seat itself that almost no one ever discovers. And it can change your entire flight. The secret lever under your seat. You shift for the 100th time, trying to find a position that doesn't make your back scream. Your lower spine burns, your legs tingle, and every inch of you wishes the seat was just a little more forgiving. But here's the truth: almost no traveler knows. The solution might already be right under you. Hidden beneath many long-haul economy seats is a small, almost invisible lever. It's not the recline button you've already used. This one controls the seat pan, the flat cushion you're sitting on. Pull it gently, and it tilts forward just a few degrees. That tiny angle change relieves pressure on your lower back and thighs, improving circulation instantly. It's the secret comfort feature airlines never advertise. Why? Because they don't want you fiddling with it. If hundreds of passengers start pulling at once, mechanisms jam, repair bills rise, and boarding slows down. So they stay quiet, letting only the frequent flyers discover it by accident. If you're lucky enough to be on newer long-haul jets, like the Airbus A350, Boeing 787, or certain 777 configurations, there's a good chance your seat has one. Older planes may also hide it near the hinge or under the seat cushion, disguised as a support bar. But if your seat doesn't have the lever, don't worry. You can mimic the same posture upgrade manually. Slip a small travel pillow or rolled hoodie into the curve of your lower back. Lift your feet slightly on your bag or blanket to create a gentle angle in your knees. Together, these adjustments reduce lumbar strain by up to 30%. The difference between pain and peace on a long haul, because surviving economy isn't always about more space. Sometimes it's just about knowing where to press. And speaking of pressure, your next meal might be quietly sabotaging your comfort before you even taste it. The power of the mid-flight reset, 6 hours in. The cabin lights are dim, the air feels heavy, and your body has started to fade. You've watched 2 movies, eaten twice, maybe even napped, but something still feels off. You're sluggish, foggy, half awake. That's not just tiredness, it's stagnation. Your body wasn't designed to stay still for half a day. Blood pools, oxygen levels drop, muscles stiffen, and your brain slows down. It's like being stuck in slow motion, mentally and physically. And the longer you sit, the worse it gets. Here's the insider truth. Flight attendants know this. They have a secret routine, a mid-flight reset that keeps them alert and balanced, even after 10-hour shifts. But passengers rarely copy it. The fix is simple, but powerful. Every 4 to 5 hours, stand up. Go to the lavatory, wash your face with cold water, and stretch your shoulders. That shock of movement and temperature resets your nervous system. It's like hitting refresh on your body. If you can't leave your seat, do micro movements. Flex your calves, roll your neck, rotate your ankles. Even 30 seconds of movement can restore circulation and sharpen focus. Most travelers skip this because they don't want to disturb others. But stillness is your real enemy. Studies show that light activity during long flights reduces post-landing fatigue by nearly 40%. That means you'll arrive clearer, calmer, and ready to actually enjoy your destination instead of crawling straight into bed. So think of the mid-flight reset as your personal survival ritual. Small, deliberate, powerful. Because travel isn't about endurance. It's about rhythm, knowing when to move, when to rest, and when to reset. And once you've learned how to reset your body, it's time to master something even harder: your mind. The psychology of long-haul survival. You can have the best seat, perfect hydration, noise-canceling headphones, and still, 10 hours in, your mind starts to collapse. Time slows. Every sound feels louder. Every minute feels longer. That's not just boredom. It's psychological fatigue. Long flights play tricks on your brain. When your body is trapped, but your senses have nothing new to process, your brain enters what psychologists call sensory monotony. It's the same effect used in isolation chambers, and it slowly drains motivation, patience, and focus. Airlines know this. That's why the cabin lighting is soft and neutral. Why the in-flight entertainment is endless but emotionally flat. Calm passengers are easier to manage, but that calm comes at a cost. Mental fog and restlessness. So how do you fight it? You build structure. Break your flight into mental segments, your own mini time zones. Divide it into cycles of movies, meals, reading, and rest. Treat each as a chapter, not an eternity. After each one, do a small movement or stretch. This rhythm tells your brain that time is moving, that progress is happening. You can also use simple dopamine triggers. Save a favorite snack or playlist for the halfway mark. Write a quick travel note or journal entry. Even something as small as changing your posture or opening the window shade resets your sensory system. And here's a pro trick. Don't just fight time, control it. Set your watch to your destination's time the moment you board. It trains your brain to anticipate arrival rather than endure confinement. Because surviving a long-haul flight isn't about comfort, it's about control. When you take charge of your environment, even a metal tube at 35,000 feet starts to feel like your space. And if you've mastered your mind, you're ready for the final secret. The one even flight attendants whisper about off-duty. The secret crew routine passengers can copy. You've probably noticed it. Flight attendants seem immune to long flights. While passengers drag themselves off the plane half asleep and swollen, the crew walks out smiling, alert, almost glowing. That's not luck. It's routine. Flight attendants operate under brutal schedules, sometimes flying 12 hours, crossing multiple time zones, and turning around again the next day. Yet somehow, they recover faster than most travelers. Their secret isn't coffee or genetics. It's discipline. Here's what they do differently. Every 3 hours, they hydrate. 1 full liter of water, minimum. Not a few sips, a full bottle. It keeps their blood oxygen high and their skin balanced. They avoid alcohol completely on duty and rarely touch caffeine mid-flight because both dehydrate and crash energy levels. They snack strategically. Instead of heavy meals, they eat small bites every few hours, almonds, protein bars, or fruit. It keeps metabolism steady, avoiding the bloating and exhaustion that hit passengers after carb-heavy airline food. And movement? It's non-negotiable. Crew members stretch in the galley or flex their legs discreetly every hour. It prevents stiffness and keeps circulation flowing. Many also carry compression socks under their uniforms, unseen but vital. They even time their sleep cycles. Before red-eye flights, they nap for precisely 90 minutes. 1 complete REM cycle, so their brains stay sharp without feeling groggy. Copying this crew routine can reduce jet lag recovery time by up to 40%. You'll land feeling closer to human than zombie. So next time you fly, do what the pros do. Hydrate like clockwork, move with intention, snack smart, and rest in rhythm. Because flight attendants don't just survive long hauls, they've mastered them. But before we land this journey, there's one final truth you need to know. Because the real travel game begins after touchdown. You made it. The wheels touch down. The cabin lights flicker back to life, and that soft chime rings through the cabin. The sound of survival. You've conquered the long-haul battle most people lose before it even begins. You didn't just endure the flight, you outsmarted it. You kept your body hydrated, your mind sharp, your circulation alive. You discovered the lever under your seat, outwitted the jet noise, and made airline psychology your ally instead of your enemy. Because travel, at its core, isn't about distance. It's about control. Control over your comfort, your focus, your energy. While others stumbled off the plane half asleep, you stepped out balanced, calm, and ready to explore. And that's the real secret. Surviving economy class isn't luck. And it's not privilege. It's preparation. Every hack, every choice, every insider trick you now know turns chaos into calm. So the next time you pack, remember, every ounce of planning you put in on the ground saves hours of misery in the sky. Your bottle, your socks, your power bank, your seat. They're not small details. They're your armor. And here's your final challenge. The one most travelers never master. Arrive with intention. Don't rush through customs. Don't sprint to your taxi. Pause, breathe, stretch. Let your mind catch up with your body. You're not just entering a new place. You're entering it awake. Because real travelers don't just reach destinations. They arrive. If this guide helped you survive the sky, hit that like button. Share it with a friend who always complains about long flights. And subscribe for more insider travel secrets. And tell me below, what's the craziest thing you've ever had flagged at security?